Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, and a very big welcome to day 5, the grand finale of the Missing Piece Weight Loss Accelerator Challenge. I am thrilled that you are here and really looking forward to sharing this last piece with you today. But before we go there, what I'd love to do is just thank you and say I want to honor you for joining me on this 5-day journey. You've leaned in this week. Hopefully, in this challenge, as I said to you at the very beginning, I want this challenge to be about not eating carrots and lettuce every day. I'm not talking about anything like that, as you can well appreciate. This is about you, the challenge is you opening your mind to a different way of thinking. So, therefore, questioning some of the old narratives that are going on inside that beautiful head of yours, or maybe seeing your body a little bit differently, seeing the amazing machine that it is. Machine's not even the right word, but you know what I mean? Like, it is amazing, our bodies and what they do for us, particularly the female body. And for you understanding why motivation hasn't worked in the past, where you can feel motivated and that can get you off the starting blocks, but inevitably that motivation doesn't last. And realizing now that even though you have all the good intentions in place and you start these new habits, eventually they too can crumble. Annoying, but true. So I just want to recap. Day 1 was all about you realizing that you weren't failing, that there is this missing piece that exists, and it's a major missing piece. It is the foundation. Day 2 was about specifically stress and how it can really play havoc within your body, and you so therefore your body isn't broken, but what is going on is this stress, which, as I said, is not necessarily some enormous bucket of stress. It's that small, insidious, everyday stresses and the thoughts that we can keep in our head about ourselves and about our weight journey, etc., that can do the damage and play havoc within our bodies and prevent weight loss from happening. Day 3, we talked about motivation and the whole idea of willpower, that it doesn't last. And again, it's why we need to set these foundations so that we are in alignment to move forward. And likewise in day 4, why we can set all these intentions up and these habits up. But if we are dysregulated in our nervous system, if our identity is not matching what we want to do and where we want to go, then it's highly unlikely that those habits are gonna stick. So today isn't necessarily about new information, although we'll share a little bit. It's about a decision. And what I wanted to do was just address potentially any questions that you came up. Yesterday, I presented the program, the Launchpad Collective, and I'm super excited about this new immersive program where we integrate your mindset in a one-on-one setting for 4 weeks, and we do the mindset launchpad work there and the mindset intensive, and then we move into a group immersive program for another 3 months, and I'll put a slide up on that shortly. But there's potential questions come up for you, like you're saying, you know, Caroline, is this the right time? It's a busy time of year for me, particularly the beginning of the year. You know, we are still, yes, we're still in February, and it's a busy time of year. And you might think, well, you know, is this really the right time for me? I don't know if I'm going to have the right time. Well, I'm going to say something very gently to you. Life is busy, and there's always going to be a busy season. You know, our work doesn't necessarily slow down. You know, our families don't go on pause. I always say to, you know, clients or potential clients, we don't want to do this in a bubble. You know, it's not as though life just sets this calendar and makes it clear for you for 3 months, 6 months. So you go on this journey, because that in and of itself is unrealistic. This program is designed for busy women. It's about integrating it into your life. I don't want you disappearing from your life and going into this bubble while we do this program. And if you're waiting for calm, Guess what? We're going to be waiting forever because we're just when we think something's going calm and everything's working, you're looking around, everything's working out, we're going, uh-oh, boom, something else hits. That's life. That's the experience of life and the journey that we're on. So we're always having these busy times. So the question I want you to ask yourself is, am I willing to put myself last again? And so by keeping yourself on the back burner and keeping that status quo, then change is unlikely to happen. But when you put yourself front and center and choose yourself and choose your health journey and choose your waistline, then integrating that into your life as it is today, that is the way to move forward. I had a client recently said to me, "Oh my God, Caroline, I know this is ridiculous, but I am really social." You know, her work demands that she entertain a lot, that she's out a lot. And she said, "How am I going to handle that?" The thing about this program is it's not a restriction program. We're not banning foods. You know, I did a live this week on good versus bad foods. I'm not into that. It's not about, again, doing it in isolation. By integrating into your everyday life, we're ensuring that you've got the regulation you need around any social triggers about going out. You know, I want you to have that emotional neutrality around food, not that it becomes this whole emotional setting, and learn how to enjoy events and your life and family occasions and celebrations without spiraling and without going, "Oh my God, I'm giving up. I'm going to start again on Monday." This goal isn't about withdrawal. It's confidence in social settings. You don't need to stop being social. I said, we don't want you doing this in a bubble. What I want for you is that you stop being destabilized by it. It's sort of like, I'm really good Monday to Thursday, and by Friday I'll just, relax. And then the whole idea of a cheat day, don't get me started on that. Cheat days, Again, that's just, can you see how that can keep you in the diet mentality? Another question I often get is, what about my family? I do not want to cook separate meals. Guess what? You are talking to hashtag lazy cook. I am literally, if you're in my group, you will see that I often comment hashtag lazy cook. I do not want you cooking second meals. I don't want you cooking something for yourself, something for your husband, something for your kids. This is about integration into your life. I promise you this. So this is real food. This is about balanced food. This is normal food that we buy, you know, hint, hint, around the outside edge of the supermarket, but we build structure that works for everyone. I don't want you weighing lettuce leaves. I don't want you making two dinners. I don't want you eating something different at the table because that is just sending up the wrong messages about food in and of itself for your family. You know, family dinner time is super, super important. And that's a time when the family comes together and can communicate. And if you're sitting there having lettuce leaves and a boiled egg, guess what? That is not sending out the right messages to anyone else at the table. I'm not interested in that. And interestingly, what often happens is that as you bring in this new way of eating, which, as I said, is balanced, normal, real food, okay? Don't stress about that. Then often there is shifts within the family to join you in this way. And believe it or not, I've had many a partner, many a husband drop weight as well. Because when you stop being stressed about food, the whole energy in the family changes as well. Now, another question. What if I start and don't follow through? And that is exactly why I have made phase one, the Mindset Launchpad. It is private because we stable your identity first. We remove any internal sabotage first. We build your safety first, and we interrupt your subconscious patterns, not the groups, yours alone. So that you do not, when you come to enter the group, You're not fragile. You're not in a state of what if this is going to fail me. You feel completely aligned. And that is so, so powerful. Really powerful. And what if I've tried everything already? Most women who join me have. You heard Helen in yesterday's video testimonial. She's tried numerous diets. Many have tried numerous diets. They have tried surgery, they have had medications, they have had injections, accountability groups like Weight Watchers and all those sorts of things. And the thing about 99.9% of those attempts, they haven't put these foundations in place before they've tried to drop the weight. They've gone straight into dropping the weight. They haven't rebuilt their identity. They haven't regulated their nervous system. They haven't aligned their habits with safety. And this is why this is different. And then you just might be thinking, okay, Caroline, I get what you're saying. I need to regulate my system. I need to be in alignment. Why don't I just do this on my own again? Very common. Let me just try this on my own for a little while. Let me say this very clearly to you. If you could have done this alone, you would have. Not because you're incapable. I promise you that. Not because you're incapable, because these patterns are hard to interrupt without reflection and guidance. And this is what I've been doing for 15 years, guiding these women through this transformation so that they lose their unwanted weight and feel fabulous and take back control around all of them. So that I just think that every woman deserves to thrive in every area of her life. So you don't need more willpower. What you need is this structure and then the ongoing support. Okay, it's super important. That support, that accountability, that cheerleader, that one to reignite you, that just to be available, it's just so, so super important. So how do I support you inside the Launchpad Collective? So let me show you what this actually looks like. Actually, I think I might have some slides here. We could try that this morning. Let's see if we can try that. Share. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, look, you're just getting my screen. Isn't that lovely? Hang on, what happens if we, are you getting that? Let's hope you're getting that. Okay, so let me just go here. So inside the Launchpad Collective, we are doing the Mindset Launchpad, which is the integration first. And that is where I am going to be supporting you one-on-one, as I said. Usually we're talking about 5 sessions. And that is where we uncover, first of all, your beliefs and negative emotions that are keeping you in the place where you are right now. And then we move into releasing these negative emotions so that you are just, as Marissa said in one of the testimonials earlier this week, it's like there was 10 kilos lifted off my shoulders overnight, because we all carry this emotional mind junk, as I like to call it, that our body holds on to. It's like this, it's like in a big, what I call the filing cabinet of the subconscious mind. And that's where all the negative emotions of the hurt and the anger and frustration and everything's just locked in there. And then occasionally the door opens and it comes to the surface. But we women are very good at just shoving it back down into the black bag. But the body is sending it up to the surface. It's making you feel these emotions because it doesn't want to hold onto these emotions. It wants you to resolve them. And that's exactly what we do. We resolve these emotions and we let them go. And then likewise with the limiting beliefs that you may be feeling about yourself. I always fail. I never succeed. I'm not good enough. I don't like my body. I'm always going to be this way. All of these types of statements which are self-critical statements that you have of yourself, are what we call limiting beliefs. So we take these limiting beliefs, we find out where they come from, because usually they came from someone else in your life as opposed to you as a little person. They were given to you, and that little brain just took them on as their true belief, and we rewire them so that you say, I succeed at everything I do. My body is amazing. Now, that might sound far-fetched from you right now, but I tell you what, after you've done the work, you have a completely brand new lens on that makes you just see yourself in a way that supports you and promotes you. And that's where the mind junk and the monkey mind chatter just all calms down. So that is done over that period of a 4-week period where we do this work together, and I'm fully supporting you, and you have access to me Monday to Friday to reach out and we can have conversations. And then at that point, we move into the group. And that's where we come into the collective. And that's where we will work through the nutrition code and the lifestyle upgrade and everything that is required for you to ensure that weight loss is happening. We're doing nutrition, we're doing mindful eating, we're doing emotional eating, we are doing habits, we are doing cravings, we are doing stress, we are doing sleep. Everything that needs to create a whole new version of wellness for you is done at this point, which is super, super exciting. So I just want you to know that that is all available to you. And that is the sort of support that I'm going to be giving you over this time for the first 4 weeks. And then as you move into the integration accelerator, and then beyond that, we have what I call stage 3, because I don't believe in these sort of quick bursts and taking you this far and then letting you fall off the cliff on your own. It's about stabilizing this identity, and you continue to stay in the group to ensure for another 3 months that this is what is right for you. So if you can, I will just show you the offers for, oh, it's gone again. Don't you love this? Where's it gone? Thank you, Caroline. No, it's gone again. Oh well, I will get it back. Why isn't it showing? Okay. Okay. Oh, here we go. Yep, there we go. The Launchpad Collective, an immersive weight loss experience for women ready to stop starting again. And as I said, you get the 5 private one-to-one mindset Launchpad sessions, the 12-week integration coaching, ensuring that you have the nervous system framework, the nutrition code, your lifestyle upgrade, a resource vault full of everything that you need and replays, obviously the community support. When you are working together in this small, intimate container, everyone has the same goal. Okay, everyone wants to lose their unwanted weight. Everyone wants this to become not another diet. It is just part of their lifestyle. And a rising tide lifts all ships. So we work together in this beautiful community container, and it's very important. And then, as I said, ensuring that you have the extended 12-week integration. So essentially, you're in the Launchpad Collective for the full 6 months. Now, that is a price of 2,997 paid in full Australian dollars for that 6-month support. And of course, there are payment plans available. So for the founding members, as you know, if you haven't heard this, there are a couple of bonuses because this is exciting about the launch. I will be doing the future self strategy session with you, which will be again a one-on-one session where we really hone into that person that you want to be and ensure that you visualize and you create this beautiful mind movie of that woman that you are going to be in 6 months, 12 months time. Bonus 2 is the maintenance identity blueprint, which allows you to have everything that you need in this toolkit to move forward beyond this container. Because, as I said, this is a lifetime. This is how I live. This will be your lifestyle. And you have everything you need to make that happen. And then bonus number three, which I'm super excited about, is that I will give all founding members a further 3 months in the program. So they remain in the community for a total of 9 months, which is just amazing. And that in and of itself is over $2,000 in bonuses. And so it takes, I did a value of the entire program. And, if you took every piece of each part of the program, it would add up to over $8,000. But as you know, it is 2,997 Australian dollars. So if you know you're ready for this next step, you can send me a DM or you can info me at carolinesilk.com, info@carolinesilk.com. And for those that are getting their replays for this, you can absolutely just hit reply on one of your replays and I will answer the question and we will have that conversation. So I will stop sharing for the moment because I want to talk to you now about, where is it? I want to talk to you about someone who has gone through my program, and her name is Jane. Now, I have told the story about Jane before, and you may have heard this. This was a one-on-one client. We worked together for 3 months, and Jane, it was in person, and Jane arrived at my door, and she actually burst into tears when I opened the door. And I was like, whoa. And she was all apologetic. And I said, please come in. And she came into my office and she had just come from a meeting whereby she and her business partner had literally come to this sort of loggerheads. And the result was that they were going to be dissolving the business. And she was incredibly disappointed and very upset. So we talked about that. And then we talked about where she was in her life. And she was a medico, had a very big position. And she caught herself in a reflection in a shop window. And it was like one of those double take moments where she just went, whoa, look at me. And it gave her a fright because she was so busy with this role, she was a surgeon. And she was so busy with the role. She was a mother. She was a partner. She was doing all those things and had all these balls in the air and running this business. And she had left herself on the back burner and while she was looking after everyone and everything else. Is that sounding familiar? So that's where she was when she came to me. And obviously then with this added life curveball of this issue with her business, she was not in a fabulous state and particularly upset. So we talked and talked and talked. And by the end of our conversation, she decided to do the program. And we worked together and we did essentially what we will be doing with you in the Launchpad Collective. We did the Mindset Launchpad, we did the Nutrition Code, we did the Lifestyle Upgrade. And her life changed enormously and her body changed enormously. And she dropped, in the end, 22 kilos, which is nearly close to 50 pounds. So what happened was her life still remained busy, but her foundation of herself, of stop fighting herself, the constant beating up of herself of how she got to this position, her doubting her ability in this one area of her life, because in the remainder of her life, she was successful. She was a very successful lady. And we created this new identity and this new foundation, this new alignment, which resulted in her dropping the weight. And I think I have this theory that all surgeons are type 1 personalities. So they're very, very gung-ho, they're very focused because it's an incredible job that they do. And when she worked with me, she said to me, Caroline, I'm going to do the initial work with you. And then I want to do our appointments instead of weekly or fortnightly. She said, I'm going to do our appointments every 3 months. So we did the initial work and then we had these appointments every 3 months. So basically that took her out, even though she, chose to do the 3 months program, it took her out to 12 months. And then she sent me this letter after she finished the program. And she said, which I still keep in my top drawer, and I should have got it for me. I should have got it so that I could show it to you. In fact, what I could do, this is what I could do right now. Could I pause? Pause. Hang on, I'll be back. Technology working. So she wrote me a thank you card, which, we don't get these very often, do we? Not anymore. We get texts and emails and all sorts of things. And I have kept it in my top drawer. And it's just a reminder of why I do the work that I do. So inside was just, a beautiful thank you and a signature. But then inside that was this letter, which I will read to you. Dear Caroline, I've been on this journey now for 12 months. The complete transformation of my life has been astounding. Not only have I lost 22 kilos, which I said is about 45, 50 pounds, my life is now so much better in so many different ways. I feel so much more in control of my emotions. I feel empowered, energized, and so very optimistic for the future. Caroline, you have guided me and given me the skills to achieve this. I can't thank you enough. You have added years to my life and life to my years. Warm regards, Jane. So that's all of my clients are super special, but I just love the fact that I've got this little memento and treasure to remind me about why I do the work that I do and the impact that I have, because that is available to you. So I really want to anchor this deeply. Weight loss is not something that you chase. It is something that actually happens naturally when the foundation is correct. The body wants to be in what is called homeostasis. Another word for homeostasis is balance. And that's a whole nother conversation that we could have, but that's what the body wants. And the body wants to be healthy. The body wants to be nourished. The body wants to have all the different parts, the stress, the sleep, everything, the hormones, everything working in sync. Like I talked about, the orchestra just playing beautifully. And it will happen naturally when the foundation is correct. But as I'm sure you're aware now, most women don't have this foundation in place at this point in their lives. And they've tried to change their behavior, they've tried to change their food, they've changed their effort, they've made it so hard. But really, what hasn't been stabilized is their identity, their nervous system. And the thing is, they may not even realize this. The internal dialogue, which we all can hear because often it's very loud in our heads. And they may not have changed their emotional regulation, like how their body is feeling emotionally. And also this, when you look at it as a whole, it's the relationship with themselves. So what's happening is they've been changing the food, doing this enormous effort on unstable ground. And when you build on unstable ground, guess what? Things are going to collapse. It can't hold. And it's not, and I know you know this, it's not because you're broken, it's not because you lack discipline. It's not because you don't want it enough. I know you want it. It's because the foundation wasn't secure. And when that foundation is rebuilt, and it takes time, and that's why we put so much time into the Mindset Launchpad, And when your nervous system feels safe and when self-criticism softens or even disappears, that's when your identity begins and when habits suddenly start supporting you and food just becomes, it's not this emotional baggage that you carry, it just becomes neutral and it just nourishes you rather than depletes you. And that's when something really powerful happens because you stop fighting, you stop obsessing, you stop negotiating with yourself all the time, all those monkey mind chatters. Your relationship with food begins to heal. Your relationship with yourself begins to heal. And it's from that place that weight loss is a byproduct. It's great. It's not a battle. It's not a sprint. It's not a this time I'm going to try harder. It's a byproduct because your internal environment is finally stable and your body is ready to release the weight. And when the foundation is right, all of a sudden, healthy choices feel natural and consistency feels just calm. Consistency feels like this is your norm. And you don't need constant motivation and you don't need to restart every Monday because it is your norm. It's your life. As I said, this is how I live my life. We're not on something, we're not on a diet. That's when the success that has eluded you for years becomes sustainable. Not because you've changed the food again, because you've changed the ground that you were standing on. And that success, it's not luck. It's not reserved for other women. Oh, it happens to everyone else. It just doesn't happen to me. It's a success that you deserve. Not because you're entitled, but because you're being open to, allowing yourself to do it differently. So what I'd like to do right now is just what I call a future pace with you. And I want you to do this with me. So first of all, let's close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths. So let's start with in through the nose, hold, out through the mouth. Make sure that your exhale is longer than your inhale. If you didn't realize that, or if you didn't know, I'm just going to share with you a little bonus. When we do that, when our exhale is longer, it helps our body reduce the stress in our body. So let's do another one. In through the nose, hold, exhale. One more. In through the nose, hold, exhale. Now, I'd like you to take yourself forward 6 months from today. So imagine yourself, we are now February, so March, April, May, June, July, August. Let's take ourselves to August, maybe September. Okay, let's take ourselves to September. And I want you to imagine yourself, it's the beginning of September. If you're here in Australia, it's the first day of spring. And just see yourself knowing that you haven't restarted anything. You haven't disappeared. You haven't had the last 6 months of frustration. You decided, you committed, you rebuilt the foundation. You stopped fighting yourself. You stabilized your habits. And notice as you see yourself standing there, lighter, stronger, healthier. How do you wake up in the morning? How do you speak to yourself? How does your body feel as you go into your wardrobe and choose clothes that fit you comfortably? Maybe there's some gorgeous stuff in the back of your wardrobe that you haven't worn for ages, and all of a sudden you are. How does your body actually feel as you move through your day? Can you feel the lightness of being? Can you see the confidence? Can you see the calm? And then think about, how does it feel to sit at the table? with family, with friends, with food. Just calm, neutral, steady, because you're not on a plan. This is just your life now. Now ask yourself one question. What did that version of me decide to do today that my current self is hesitating on? How can you be that version of you in 6 months' time from today? Just really soak into and feel into how good that new you feels. Let's finish by taking one more breath. Open your eyes. And know that decision is available to you right here, right now, today. So that's amazing. So now that you understand the missing piece, now that you understand stress, motivation, habits, alignment, foundations, really the only question is, are you going to continue to build this alone, or are you really ready to build this properly once and for all? Like, this is not about starting again. This is about completing this foundation work, building this stability for you, dropping the weight and getting on with your life. And the Launchpad Collective is the bridge between insight and stability, and enrollment, as you now know, is open. And if something in you knows it's the right time, if this feels aligned, I want you to invite you to step forward and let's have a conversation. This isn't about convincing you. I promise you that. We need to know that we are the right fit for each other. It's about making sure this is the right container for you and that we are the right fit to walk this journey together. Because when it is the right fit, the transformation is super powerful. And the reason why I keep this container intentionally small, because this depth of work requires space, and I'm not filling it with 65,000 people. So I would be honored to walk this next chapter with you. Enrollment is now open. If it feels aligned, step forward. As I said, email me, DM me. And once I receive your request, I will send you the confirmation and next steps. And we will begin our work together. And we will start by stabilizing your foundation. Spots are limited, but if you feel the pull, I really want you to trust it. Let's just have the conversation. As I said, no pressure, just a conversation. So until then, a very big thank you for joining me this week. And I shall see you on the inside. Thank you and bye for now.